Hey there! In this video, we'll create a quick and simple to-do list web application with the ABP Framework, but we'll be using the minimalist single-layer template. So for this version of the video, the UI framework is going to be Angular, and the database provider is going to be Entity Framework Core. And this is what we're trying to build. It's a very simple to-do list web application, and we can type in something. We can say, for example, feed the cat, water the plants, and for example, clean the house. So we can type in, and we can get the list, and we can also delete. So let's get started. Now the first thing I'll do is copying the install command that installs the ABP CLI. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to open up a terminal, and I'll paste it right here. And as you can see, it's already been installed. After that, I'm going to navigate to the desktop, and I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call it to-do app. Same name as our application, and I'll navigate to it. And then I'm going to copy the command that creates our application. And I'll paste it right here. And as you can see, the name is to-do app, and the template is the minimalist single-layer template, and the UI framework is Angular. And Entity Framework Core is the database provider by default, so we do not have to specify it right here. And it's done. Let's open it up. And we have two folders right here, the ASP.NET Core and the Angular. And let's open the ASP.NET Core, and let's open the solution. And this is our minimalist non-layered startup solution, and as you can see, everything is in one project. We don't have the domain-driven design as before. Everything is in one project. Let's copy this command, and let's paste it in our root folder. I'm going to open up a terminal right here, and I'm going to paste it right here, and that will create the database for us and seed the initial data. And before we make any more changes, let's take a look at our application. I'm going to run the project, and it'll run our Swagger UI, and it's a tool that'll help us to test our endpoints. And now we're back to these two folders. Let's open the Angular one, and I'm going to open up a terminal right here, and I'm going to run the Angular client application. And before we run the Angular client, make sure that the project is running. And as you can see, this is our minimalist application, and this is how it looks. And let's stop running it and get to work. The first thing we'll do is defining the entity. This application has a single entity, and we'll start by creating it. We're going to create a new to-do item class under the entities folder. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to find the entities folder. It's right here. And I'm going to create it right here, to-do item. And I'll paste it right here. It'll inherit from basic aggregate root, and good is the primary key. Next up is the database integration. We're going to open the to-do app dbContext class in the data folder, and we're going to add this dbSet property to it. I'm going to copy it. Here's the data folder. Here's the to-do app dbContext, and we're going to add the dbSet property right here. Let's import the missing references. And then we're going to copy the mapping code and paste it in the onModelCreating method. Here is the onModelCreating method, and we're going to add it right here. And by that, we've mapped the to-do item entity to the to-do items table in the database. And now after we're done with the dbSet, we can code our first migration. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to go back to the root folder. I'm going to open up a terminal again, and I'll paste it right here. We'll also update the database. And now we're done coding the migration. Next up is creating the application service. An application service is used to perform the use cases of the application, and we need to perform the following use cases: getting the list of the to-do items, creating a new to-do item, and deleting an existing to-do item. Same as we saw in the example at the beginning of the video. But before implementing these cases, we need to create the DDO, or the data transfer object, because application services typically get and return DDOs instead of entities. And so let's create a new to-do item DDO class under the services and then the DTOs folder. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to find the services folder and then the DTOs folder. And I'll add it right here. To-do item DTO. And I'm going to paste the code right here. It's a very simple DDO class that matches our entity with both the text and the GUID. And now we're ready to implement the application service. We're going to create a new to-do app service class under the services folder this time. I'm going to copy this, and here is the services folder. And I'll create it right here, to-do app service. And I'll paste it right here. Now this class inherits from the application service class, which will help us implement these use cases, getting the list of the to-do items, creating a new to-do item, and deleting an existing to-do item. And now we're going to implement the methods right here. The first method is getting the to-do items. We're going to copy it, and we'll paste it right here. Let's import the missing references. And let's make some space right here for the next method. And the next method is creating a new to-do item. I'm going to copy it, and I'll paste it right here. And last but not least, deleting a to-do item. I'm going to copy this, and I'll paste it right here. Now, ABP provides default generic repositories, and we've used one right here. We've injected the iRepository, which is the default repository for the to-do item entity, and then we've used its methods right here, the getList async, insert async, and the delete async. These are all standard repository methods to deal with the database. And now, after implementing the application service, we are ready to code our user interface. Now, ABP provides a handy feature to automatically create client-side services to easily consume HTTP APIs provided by the server. But we first need to run the to-do app project, since the proxy generator reads the API definitions from the server application. And so, we're gonna run this one first. Here is our Swagger UI, and once the project is running, we'll open a terminal in the directory of the Angular folder, and we're going to run the following command. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to open up a terminal in the Angular folder, and I'll paste it right here. And we've got the same generated output. And now let's use the to-do service to use the server-side HTTP APIs. I've opened the Angular folder in VS Code, and I'm going to navigate to source, app, home, and then home component TypeScript. And I'm going to copy the whole code from here, and I'm just going to replace it right here. Now we've used the to-do service to get the list of the to-do items and assign the returning values to the to-do items array. And we've also added the create and delete methods, and these methods will be used on the view side. And next up, I'm going to copy the home component HTML file, and I'm going to find it right here, and I'll paste it right here. And last but not least, the CSS. I'm going to copy it, and I can find it right here. And by that, we can run the Angular client again. Since the Swagger UI is still running. And as you can see, we've got our little minimalist to-do list web application. And we can say, for example, feed the cat. And for example, water the plants. And clean the house. So we can type in, and we can get the list, and we can also delete. And that's how to create a minimalist to-do list web application using Angular and Entity Framework Core. See you next time.